It's always the way, folks. I got something monstrous on here. I got 3 minutes left on my card. Hopefully I can at least get a glimpse of it for you. Life is good! I gotta stay right on it. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Welcome to NTS Adventures. My name is Colin. You all know me by now, the 50 or so people that watch the channel regularly, and for the 10 or so people that actually watch the videos from start to finish. Well, Annette and I are back from our 18 days abroad. We had a great trip there on the MSC Virtuosa and visiting the Canary Islands and Portugal and Spain. Came out today for a couple hours, decided that I was going to spend some time doing a little bit of fishing, a little bit of walleye fishing. Great time of year to be fishing. Why? It's September. Why? Because it's the transition time. Right now the fish are going to start to move deep. Why are they moving deep? They're following the bait fish because the bait fish are moving deep. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to throw all your summer tactics out the window right now, because you're not. It's a transitional period, this late summer, early fall, and it's a little bit tricky. They're hard to find, and they're even harder to find on the Ottawa River. I've explained it to you before. So what I do this time of year, I resort to Old Faithful. Humps, humps, and more humps. I'm fishing a hump about 24 feet. My bait, bottom bouncing, of course, covering ground. My bait is probably down about 15 to 20 feet. 45-degree angle, trolling about 1.4 to 1.8 knots. Sorry, miles per hour. I've already picked one up. We're going to keep her going here and see if we can get another one. Welcome to the channel, everybody. We're back. It's going to be a great fall. We're going to start breaking out the side-by-side. We're going to start breaking out the John boats. We're going to be hitting little lakes. We're going to be hitting trails. It's going to be a lot of fun. Stay tuned for the next 20 minutes. It's going to be fun. Just marked a couple fish, 3 of them down right below the boat there. I was using side imaging for a while, but I know where the fish are. I saw them on top, so I'm just set a course with the autopilot where I want to go, and on cruise control, like I said, trolling about 1.4 to 1.8 miles per hour. Got one in the tub already. I think I mentioned that, and hopefully we're gonna have a second one in a bit here. My bottom bouncers should be going over those fish any second now. So I've abandoned bottom bouncing up on that feature on the other side of the island here. Picked up one fish there, but marked many more, but truthfully the only reason I got off, it was just too windy. Anyway, I've moved back on the other side of an island here, and I'm doing some side imaging right now, and hopefully I'm going to pick up a couple of pods of fish, and once I do, I'm going to come back on them, and just want to check this one out here. Just missed a fish there. I was just tying up a couple more rods and just tapped away. Just missed it. Come on back, buddy. Oh, might have him back here. Might have him back. I see him down there. He's right below the boat. Yeah, there he is. Got him. I knew he'd come back. Ah, he's just a small little guy. Small little walleye. I knew he was there though. It's the beauty of these these modern day electronics, man. What a difference from when I first started fishing back in the day. When it says there's a fish there, there's a fish there. Full stop. Really cool stuff. I'm kind of a geek when it comes to those things. I don't rely on them as much as a lot of guys though do. For those of you that have been watching the channel, almost a year old by the way, know that I'm not that kind of a geek, but when it comes to having thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of electronics on the boat, but the ones that I do have, I really enjoy using them, and I really get a kick out of just how deadly they are, especially now that I'm starting to figure it out. All right, let's get another jig back in. I gotta fish out a sandwich too. I'm getting hungry. There we go. There we go. Right up nice and shallow here. So yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I switched to jigging a little while ago. And I'm just on a little bit of the edge of an island here. It's kind of a little flats, if you will. And picked up 2 fish here. After the dog days of summer, when the fish have been laying low for 6 to 8 weeks, depending on the body of water you're fishing. And again, that's not even a real accurate statement in some ways, because you go to any of those inland lakes, and I'm talking really inland up here near north of where I'm from, Thunder Bay, Nipigon area, you'll catch walleye, 50, 100 walleye in any given day, no matter how hot it is. But those are lakes with very little fishing pressure, and lakes that are just full of walleye. And normally the lakes I'm speaking about in this example are those lakes that are, you know, the mean average of a lake is like 22 feet, and they're just walleye machines. They truly are. I fished probably 100 of them over the years. But anyway, getting back to where I am here on the Ottawa River, September is a fun time of year to fish. The fish do start biting. But it can be a challenging time of year, because a lot of those old summer spots are still hot because some of the fish completely haven't completely made that change. I guess it's just like any animal. Some are different and some react differently than others. Some fish are choosing to stay in the summer patterns for whatever reason a little longer. But science has shown us, and the general rule of thumb, and I guess the consensus amongst most anglers, is that this time of year is when the majority of the fish start moving deeper. To, like I said before, they're going to start chasing the bait fish, because the bait fish will start moving deeper. And then by the time you get into end September, October, they really start to pick up, because they'll start feeding before the ice comes in. Now, the Ottawa River obviously doesn't freeze over. I mean, the edges do freeze over, but I've very rarely, I don't think in my 30 years of living here in the valley on and off, I don't think I've ever seen this river freeze right across. I'm not saying it hasn't, maybe in a particularly cold winter, but I don't recall that time. But anyway, what I'm getting at here, folks, is it is a fun time of year, because the bite is starting to pick up, and you can come out in the afternoon like this and catch a couple of fish, which I already have. And when you do find them, if you do find a pot of them, and the conditions are just right for that fall bite, that early fall, late summer bite, man, it can be a really good bite. My wife and I, a couple years ago, had one of the best walleye nights we've had in our life, right here on the Ottawa River, and that was late August, and it was just a frenzy. And we were consistently catching 18, 20, and the odd 20 inch plus fish. It was a really fun time. So good time. It's a good time of year to be fishing, and it's a lot of fun. So enough talking. Let's see if I can get back at her here and catch another fish. Of course, is always the way. Got no memory left on my GoPro, and then I just start catching bass one after another. Nothing huge, but a lot of fun nonetheless. See if I can rig this up somewhere. They're all sitting kind of, I'm just in about 5 feet of water right here, and you can see I'm just kind of in on the edge of these rocks here, and there's a rock pile down there. I don't know if they'll pick it up there, but basically I'm on this big rocks here followed by a field of rock, and they seem to be scattered in here because every cast I've made on that Senko I'm picking up a 3/4 or a half a pounder. We'll see how she goes here. I'll keep her going. Lift them. It's always the way, folks. I got something monstrous on here. I got 3 minutes left on my card. Hopefully I can at least get a glimpse of it for you. I'm having a feeling it's going to be a sturgeon or a big old, no, it's a big old pike. He's running with it too. See if I can get it on here. Very light tackle I'm using right now. Sorry about the angles. I'm not even hooked up here. This might even be a snag, actually. Yeah, it's a snag. That's why he's fighting so hard. Poor guy. Oh, just pulling. I'm gonna run out here, man. I got like 3 minutes left. Hopefully I'll get it up here for you guys to take one last look at it. Oh, come on, buds. Oh, snags. Giving lots of power, man, on a snag. Lots of power on a snag. I gotta shut down here for now, guys. I'm gonna fight this fish. I'm doing my best to get this guy in here. I have to switch over to my phone because I ran out of storage on my on my GoPro, but you can just see where he's snagged there on the side. I'm not sure how that happened, but he's when they're snagged like that, it gives them a lot more steam to fight. So I'm gonna try and get this guy in the boat here and put him out of his misery of that snag, meaning release him as soon as I can. Anyway, stand by. Anyway, those of you who are anglers, you know the significance of catching a fish on a snag like that. He gave me quite the fight, and I only had a 6-pound lead because I'm doing some really finesse walleye fishing here because they're not really behaving. So anyway, I'm gonna try and get this out of here and get him back on his way. Anyway, poor guy was snagged. He wasn't having a great time, but tough skin there. He's gonna be okay. I don't know, probably a 4, maybe a 5 pike. Not too bad for September 3rd afternoon. gonna get him back in here because just looking at the screen, I'm marking a whole bunch more fish. So let's see if we can get him back on the way to the grand old ocean. The grand old river. Anyway, that was some excitement for the day. Been playing around with smallmouth all afternoon, and I think the best I got was a pounder. And then boom! My medium light St. Croix bent in half. And at first I thought it was a sturgeon. Those of you who fish the river, Ottawa River here know what I'm talking about. There's apparently 6 to 8 footers in here, which I actually believe, because some of the people have told me stories are very credible people about sturgeon swimming up beside a boat or a canoe and then looking at it. Big sturgeon. Anyway, got him in. I'm going to retie and on a whole bunch of marks here. Actually, I'll spot lock that right now and see if I can jig those guys. Hang on. Pull it over top and let it fall in front. Current's kind of coming down this way. I'm on basically over there, that shore over there is Quebec. I snuck in back here earlier. The wind was picking up on the main the wind was picking up on the main basin of Alumet Lake. So I decided, well, I'm just going to come tuck my way back in here, which is what I usually do when probably cut my head off here. It's what I usually do when the wind is picked up and or the fishing isn't great. And then truthfully, the fishing wasn't great out there. Nonetheless, because the fishing wasn't great and because the wind was picked up, I decided to come back here, and I've been doing okay. I've probably gotten into maybe a half a dozen smallmouth right now, a couple of rockers, and of course that snagged pike. And I've only been back here probably about an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes. So that's not bad for September 3rd on a hot September 3rd afternoon. I don't think anyway. I mean, the haters out there, oh, I would have had 100 by now, Colin. Okay, well, good for you. But I've only gotten half a dozen, so maybe 5. It's all sorts of deadheads back here, and I think the smallmouth like it. The combination of deadheads and rock, even though it's averaging between 2 and 6 feet, they seem to be in here. I was trying to pick up some walleye in a hole back there. I know that sometimes in August it can produce quite a few walleye. I've had some really good luck in there over the years, but today wasn't that day, and that happens. I get that. And the fish are a curious species for sure. I've just been kind of retrieving it pretty quick. I've noticed that the last couple of fish I've caught, they've been smashing it right off the hop. I don't know if they're top feeding or what the deal is, but I haven't had any much luck with, like we traditionally do with the Senko, letting it sit and do twitch, twitch, titch. So I've been letting it fall in its spot. I'm fishing a weighted hook, tungsten hook, 1/4 ounce jig. I'm just letting it fall, and then basically where it falls is where I'm doing the tugs. And if I don't get anything in that amount of time that I'm sitting in that original spot, I've just been doing a retrieve. Kind of seems to have worked here so far. Oh, there's another tongue. No, and he's gone. I know when they're gone after they do that first pickup. It could be that, I don't know if you guys can pick this up, this new jig I'm using here. Well, new to me anyway, tungsten jig, 1/4 ounce with a little weed guard on it for the Senkos. I've noticed a couple other anglers on YouTube using them, guys that I have a lot of faith in their angling ability and their skill and presentation. And they've been using this when they're fishing cover, and it's worked well for them, so I thought it would give it a go. Traditionally, I've been just using the octopus hook, but I do get snags, so this is really nice knowing that I can kind of pull this through without worrying too much about a snag. It's been fun actually. I would have hooked up on a log or a weed back here probably 2 times by now on this pass, which I usually do. Couple nice logs over here that have caught my eye. I'm just gonna bump ourselves up to them. They should be coming into view for you here any second now. There they are. Aren't those beautiful? Those got to be holding a fish or two. They just got to be. I just got to watch my graph when I'm going up there, because this is rock and Deadhead City in here, man. It's just like jur. You really got to pay attention. Just went from 10 to 6. Now let's go into 4. It's just all over the place. But if I can get within casting range, I'll be happy. Don't want to get too close anyway. Okay, here we go. First log number 1. A little bit off the mark there just because the wind had blown it back there. But I should have compensated, right? Yeah, I should have compensated for the wind. You got to do a 10-degree angle to the left there to compensate for the wind, and then you'll be able to ensure that your Senko lands exactly where it's supposed to. You know. Spot lock right here. I'm going to probably throw a half a dozen casts in here, but I'm pretty confident there's going to be a fish on here. Just going to throw right in front of it. There we go. Let that fall. Oh, there he is. Dunk. Yeah, let him take it. There we go. Told you that log would have one. Guaranteed. Just a little guy, but proved my point nonetheless, my friends. Where there's a log, there's a fish, usually. Just a little guy. And I'm going to shut this down for now, and once it picks up again, we'll turn it back on. Another little snapper. Little fighting smallmouth. Right up on the gulp. Smallmouth on the gulp. Thanks, Darren. Been loving these things all summer, man. Gulp minnow. Anyway, guys, that's it for me for today. Like I said, I told Annette to be back by 5, so I'm gonna head back in and spend an evening with Annette and my mom, who's in town for 10 days here. It's always nice to see Mom. And my daughter will probably kick around every now and then. That's what she does. She'll come in and say hello and then carry on with her way. Life of a 23-year-old, I suppose. Anyway, if you guys haven't already figured out, this was a 2-part series. Part 1 was a couple days ago when I was out bottom bouncing / jigging for some walleye. did okay. I think I got three or four fish there. But for now, this is going to be it. Once again, I really hope you guys enjoyed that 4-part series on our vacation abroad, and just kind of decided to come out here today to let everybody know we're back. Lots to look forward to this fall, like I said earlier. So stay tuned, everybody. I know there's not a whole lot of you out there that watch the channel, but I do appreciate the ones that do. It's the old thing, it's quality, not quantity, I suppose. Anyway, you know the drill, guys. Life is hard. Have fun and support your troops. I'll see you next time on NTS Adventures. Calling out. Let's go home, mate. Life is good.